Hi, it's July 20th, 2020. 2020. I'm Scott Johnson, and you're watching Frogpants Plays Daily. So I went down a 40K, Warhammer 40K rabbit hole, and I've been doing it for about a week. And by that, I mean I've been digging out all my games that have the name Warhammer 40K on them and spinning them up again. Old stuff, kind of new stuff, all over the place. Things that are years and years old. 2008's Space Marine and more recent stuff like that Mechanica strategy game. Man, Warhammer 40K has my number, dude. And that number is 40K because every time I see anything about it, I'm super into it and cannot wait to play it. So I've been doing a lot of that. Do you guys have a game like that where you just cannot stop yourself? Not a game, but like a set of games or a genre of games or a setting that just grabs you by the throat and won't let go until you've had your fix? Well, that's what Warhammer 40K is for me. And I've never even played the tabletop thing. Ever. Not even once. I admire it from afar. Scares the crap out of me. I don't want to paint that small, but it seems so rad. Nonetheless, the video games really give me what I want. Let me know in the comments below or an email what your favorite thing like that is. Jumping straight into the news, PlayStation 5's new DualSense controller and everything we learned about it from today's live stream. Well, it's actually a couple of days ago now, but you get the point. More details on the first impressions of the PlayStation 5's new controller have been revealed by way of the Summer Games Fest stream with Jeff Keighley. A brief side-by-side comparison showed that the DualSense is physically larger than the PlayStation 4's controller, weighing in at a bit more and feeling like it has a little more heft was the term he used. The integrated speaker is said to have a wider range of sound. That wouldn't be too hard compared to the old one because it was terrible. And also, sounds tie in with what the haptic feedback is doing at the same time. That's at least true in the case of the game Astro's Playroom, which we learned will be a free game pre-installed on the PlayStation 5. The stream says it's a multi-hour game rather than a quick tech demo because all systems will include the game. It should serve as a good instruction as to what the DualSense is capable of. I will admit, be the first guy in line to say I like a hefty controller. I like one with some weight to it, you know? Same with gaming mice. I like the ones where you put the little weights in the back of it or in the bottom of it. Like my old Logitech G5, I think it was called. And that was great because then you could just make it all heavy like it had a big hunk of lead in there. So I'm all for these feeling like less like plastic, less light, a little more heft to them. Like if you dropped it, it may not shatter, that sort of thing. So that's cool. And hopefully a decent battery this time. Sony, can you put a decent battery in that damn thing? Because the PS4 battery freaking sucked. Also, this idea of an installed game. We haven't seen that since like pack-ins, right? Or I guess today you can go buy a bundle or whatever. But normally a new console doesn't launch with a game in it. We haven't done that since what, the Sonic and Mario days way back in the day? I don't think anyway. I could be missing one that I'm not thinking of. But in this particular case, you get a game. And it's a full-fledged game by what they're describing here, and a great way to get used to all the new features that the controller will bring. And it's installed. It's like on the hard drive. Unusual. In theory, you could buy a PlayStation 5 on day one and not buy another game because you'd have this Astro's Playground unit deal, right? Is that enough to keep you happy on launch day? Probably not. But still, it's there. It's kind of cool. And I still have questions about the future of the controller as a cross-platform device. Right now, the PlayStation 4 DualShock works great with mobile stuff, tablets, syncs with phones really well. Been a good choice there. Syncs with Macs and PCs really well. Even though there's kind of a dominance of Microsoft controllers on the PC platform, you're starting to see a lot more games just have default stuff all set to go for PlayStation icons. So will they continue to be well supported there? Or are we going to have to wait until the end of that cycle to see it kind of kick up like it has with this one? So I'm real curious about that. It seems like the kind of controller I wouldn't mind taking to multiple places with me. Halo Infinite teases the Master Chief's return ahead of the July Xbox event. This is all ahead of next week's Xbox Games Showcase, which will focus on the Series X title. The company, and other games, by the way, I should say. The company has posted a new Halo Infinite teaser to its Twitter account. It's just a GIF, but if you want any reason to be sort of excited now, I guess this might do it for you. The teaser sees a machine emblazoned with the number 117 on the front of some sort of green-colored armor. The number is a reference to John 117, better known as Master Chief, the protagonist of the majority of the Halo franchise. Unfortunately, there's nothing else really to the teaser other than that number, and we already knew this would be the focus of the game, or at least it would focus on Master Chief. Not much of a tease, but I remain excited about the future of Halo as a franchise, and specifically Infinite. More Master Chief. He should always be front and center. I think that it was a bit of a mistake in previous games to shy away from him as your main protagonist. I think that's like making a Mario game without Mario in it. But then again, like, remember Metal Gear Solid 2 had all that Raiden stuff in it? and we didn't expect to see that, and we thought we'd be playing Snake the whole time, but we totally didn't play Snake the whole time. Some people really hated that, and it was kind of okay in the end, but I don't know. That you can't mess with gamers' heads that way when you got a hero or a protagonist to follow around. And right now, Master Chief is your guy. He's your Halo guy. Bring back the Halo guy. Also, 3 hit the collection on Game Pass and Steam and other places. Been tempted to get back in. I really liked Halo 3 at the time, but I'm pretty concerned or convinced that it's not going to hold up for me in the way I remember it. I could be wrong, but I'm going to fire it up next week and see. Maybe this week. And one more quick note. Call of Duty Warzone playlist just added a new team mode called Deathmatch Mode. Yeah, but that's in Warzone, you say, eh? Big giant world. Normally it's Battle Royale. Not now. Call of Duty Modern Warfare and its Battle Royale game, Warzone, are being updated with new stuff to keep things fresh and interesting. Activision announced the new updates in a blog post, and here's a few of them. The playlist updates are live as of July 14th. They include a variety of new options for you to check out. Small patch has been released for July 14th for PS4, Xbox One, and PC, reworking the offensive content in the Border War skin. That made a lot of splashes last week. Fixing an exploit involving picking up Warzone weapons before the infill sequence, and addressing a bug with the Raytech AMR's crosshairs. Don't have a lot to say here, but I like a good old-fashioned deathmatch. And if you tell me that I can have like 100 people on 100 people, that would be rad. Like maybe even, I mean, I guess I didn't read that deep into it, but maybe this is a team deathmatch kind of deal. So you just split the whole world up 50-50. That's pretty cool. I might fire up Warzone again if they do that for me. Email. We got some feedback this time via the YouTube comments. This is from Omega9, who says, I like being able to go from Xbox to PC with my games. Plus, that Game Pass is a real lifesaver when you just want something simple to play. Right now, the only games I buy are on Nintendo. Game Pass fills in the rest. Interesting point. I still say this is Microsoft's biggest strength going into this next generation, and that is their services. Game Pass is awesome. I still think it's the best deal in gaming right now. And it's the number one reason I'm at all even considering an Xbox this generation. They certainly don't have the exclusives I care as much about as I do over on Sony. So they're not going to win in that level, but they're going to win in other stuff if they do win. And that'll be things like services. Game Pass is an incredible value. And I think they're smart to this. I think they know there's a big part of the gaming population that plays on PC and maybe Xbox, but they have access to that that machine's ecosystem via PC Game Pass. And then for other stuff, they're like, well, I want the rest of my gaming dollars to be spent on a Switch. So I'll put games there because Nintendo makes these, great single party or first party games you can't get anywhere else. So I'll have that. So like the Switch PC kind of master race thing going on a little bit. I think that describes me pretty well, actually. And my PlayStation has gathered dust as a result. And I really enjoyed Game Pass as a service. I feel like it's brought a lot of value into my gaming life. So I don't know. They may blow my mind next week. I'm really, really curious about this event because they need to blow all our minds to compete with Sony this time around. Good luck, Microsoft. I'll be there watching. And now of little consequence, I thought you guys might like to see what the original Ronald McDonald looked like. So check him out. And on that horrifying note, that's going to do it for me. Thank you all for being here. Frogpantsplays.com is the website. You can also contact me via email, scott@frogpants.com. And if you are at all interested in having your stuff read on the show, leave your comments below or send us one of those emails. That would be great. I'll be back tomorrow with more. Bye. Players will be able to play it involving derp deep, fixing an exploit raw. My gosh, Scott.